And we are still waiting. There he is. As we come back from break, Mr. Rick Ector of the boy, I don't
Ooh,
legally armed in Detroit. Can we do that? Can we just say legally armed in Detroit website? Rick Ector joins us. Thank you for joining us, man.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
We've spent the last about 40 minutes talking coronavirus, and we'll be getting back to that in a little bit. But
It's hard to stay away from that topic.
Oh, I'm telling you, man. I am telling you, it's
there's so many different angles to take on that story.
Should have listened to the last 40 minutes. But what
from conspiracy theories to, it runs the whole gamut, man. I mean, it just depends on what part of the pool you're in and how bashful you are about expressing yourself.
Yeah. Well, what I wanted to talk to you about tonight, over the past several years, at least 3 years, I know you've been doing this, is that
this will be my 9th year.
This will be 9th year. Okay. Third year I've been aware. Third year I've been aware of it. 9th year total. You have been 1 day a year. You've been training a large group of ladies in the Detroit area. And this year you've got a goal that I am absolutely, I am in awe of this. Your goal this year is to train 1,000 women in one day.
That is it, man.
What kind of let's start with this. What kind of training are you going to be giving to these 1,000 ladies? And this is coming up in a couple months.
Yeah, it's coming up on the Sunday after Mother's Day. Mother's Day is on the 10th, so we're talking about the 17th.
Okay.
1,000 women in one day. It consists of a range debriefing. And then right after that, we bring them one-on-one with the firearms instructor, and they shoot 21 rounds of 9mm ammo at a target.
So this is basically about an introduction to handgun kind of thing?
It's an introduction to firearm safety and discharging a handgun. With everything that's been going on before this coronavirus thing that we're into, women have always been the prize target of bad guys. And so now when you look at those who are holding out for, I guess, law enforcement to save them, which has always been an interesting tactic, now we're having, scores of police officers who are coming down with COVID or, coronavirus or whatever you want to call it. And, man, our police departments are being compromised, especially here in Detroit, man. Our chief of police has been diagnosed with COVID, man.
That's crazy. That's one of the items we're going to be talking about in the news segment coming up. There are 700 police officers just in the state of New Jersey that have tested positive, and another 700 that are on mandatory home quarantine.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy, man. But here's the thing. If we can just step aside from this whole COVID virus thing, man, and just look at personal protection in of itself for itself, and you talk about women, then when you add into the fact that those who haven't explored gun ownership and personal protection, now you're talking about, the few law enforcement officers we had on duty, their ranks are being diminished either because they're getting sick or because they're under quarantine, and that just underscores the fact that women need to take on an even greater role in their personal protection. And who knows, and I'm sure you guys talked about this, at some point, during the earlier segments about law enforcement and societal breakdown. What happens if people get desperate, that type of thing. So it just underscores the fact that the most vulnerable of us should be given some type of direction in terms of protecting themselves and their families.
So let me ask you this: 1,000 ladies one day. Obviously, that's not something you can do all by yourself. You've got to
No,
have a huge staff helping you.
I do, man. I have legions and scores upon scores of fellow firearms trainers doing it, man. You know, the very first time I did it, I started out with 5 other guys and we trained 50 women. And, you know, I thought that was pretty good and I thought I could do better. You know, 100, 200, 300, 400, 600, 700. Last year, 814. And, you know, there's been changes to the process along the way, man. You know, I'm a industrial engineer systems guy by education, right? So you just have to re-engineer the process instead of everyone showing up at once. You know, now I have them coming in shifts and waves. And, you know, instructors, you know, I have, you know, through the networking that I've done over the years, you know, I went from a handful of instructors to I'll probably have about 100 firearms instructors on duty that day.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. We have a comment coming in off social media. Eric says, panic aside, people are seeing the need to step up and take responsibility for their own safety. I like that people are seeing the need.
Well, you know, I mean, the need has always been there. You know, one, I'm in an urban environment, you know, one that's always been tough. I mean, ever since I was a kid, and if you see all this gray on me, man, you know that was a long time ago.
You look pretty good for a guy who's only 27.
Yeah,
I look
exactly.
pretty good for an old man. I know. I work hard at it, man. And you know what? You know, and I'm trying to, you know, get even better at it. But you know what? I'm way overdue for a haircut and a shave. You know, I'm on lockdown. You know, I'm being a good guy and I'm following the rules and I'm not sneaking out, you know, exposing myself to coming down with COVID, you know, but you know, you just do the best you can, man. Just take care of yourself. Good living. Eat well.
There you go. There you go.
Rick, you say you've got about 100 trainers coming in. You looking for any other help on that day?
Man, look, I turned down no assistance. It would be foolhardy of me to say, you know what? I have all the help I need, don't need anyone else. I'm a realist, man. I've been doing this for years. I mean, anything can happen. You know, Murphy, old man Murphy, Murphy's Law, he's my best friend, man.
Well, I'm just north of you in center line, so I'll be happy to come down and pitch in wherever I can.
Man, look, let me tell you, there'll be a spot for you. If you're trained in firearms instructor, you will be training either a newbie, you know, but confident, you know, woman one-on-one in the booth, or you'll be help organizing the traffic flow or passing out literature or doing inline demonstrations with training guns. I mean, me and the committee, we're hard at work at stream and trying to increase throughput. As a matter of fact, just last night we had a 1-hour meeting over the internet. God bless the internet, if that thing ever goes down. But we were just going over some of the things that we can do to streamline the process, add more value, and make sure that we can process as many as possibly and safely.
Neil on social media says, hey, Rick, of these 1,000 women, how many are brand new versus those that have shot or even currently own a gun?
You know, it's a mix, man. There are some women who are going to be here who've never seen a gun in real life, never touched one, but are curious and don't know who to ask and don't want to commit the social faux pas of asking the wrong person to go to the gun range or ask them about guns. Then you got people who bought a gun and, man, they haven't shot it. They just look at it on the shelf and go, man, that thing is amazing. One day maybe I should pick it up and try it. And then you have some people that shot a gun in their class, and, you know, I'm not going to talk about disparagingly about some of the disparities we have in training, but maybe after that initial training session, they don't feel comfortable going back by themselves. They don't have someone to go with. Then you have people who come every year to this event. Then you have women who are like, man, they're like top of the class, like top 5%. They have a gun and they practice, you know, every month. They pump 100 rounds down range. But here's the thing. I don't care what your experience level is. You're a woman. I want to help you protect yourself in these very trying times. Come out and get, you know what? Get some free practice on me, even if you're an expert ace. And if you're a newbie, you're green and you're curious and you just want to try it, it's like green eggs and ham. Just try it.
Rick, that brings up a point. How many women have asked you for training, as you mentioned, after the crazy things we've seen in the news? If you told me that I'd hear from police that, go ahead, yeah, do call us, but we're not coming, that's gotta make a lot of people nervous.
You know, there's always a constant stream of people who are interested in taking on a more active role in their personal protection. However, we do get these spikes when things happen. If there's a mass shooting or if there's this threat of COVID virus, and if you follow that logic, you know, down a few steps, you're making a few assumptions. But if you assume that police officers are getting sick, their response times are going to diminish, and that the wait times are going to be elongated. You know, it's only a certain amount of time before you arrive at that place mentally where you go, you know what? I'm a woman. I have children. You know, I wasn't so, eager to take on this gun ownership and having a gun in the house. But you know what? It's more than me to consider. You know, I have babies and I want to keep them safe. And if this guy, this Rick Ector guy, is going to invite me to this gun range for free and teach me how to shoot, provide me with a gun, give me ammo, one-on-one with the firearms trainer, and then turn around and give me freebies like I think we have one sponsor who's going to once again hand out, baseball caps with the GOA logo on it and whatever else I can get from sponsors. Always looking for sponsors to help subsidize this event, because there's at least a few things that I'm going to be doing in addition to what I've done in the past to overcome any concerns about, hygiene as it relates to making sure that we have proper spacing, and, we're going to have like gloves, those disposable gloves.
So you raise a really interesting point, Rick. And what kind of sponsorship support have you had?
Well, the gun range for one has been huge. Top Gun here in Taylor, Michigan, allowing me to have free reign of the gun range. That's been huge. The support of my fellow trainers, the relationships I've built over the years. I've had a couple of huge sponsors come through. One of them is a state-level gun rights organization here in the state of Michigan, and a guy who's an ammunition manufacturer. They've come through with the ammunition. You're talking 1,000 people, 21 rounds. So you do the math, man. I'm going to churn through 21,000 rounds of 9mm ammo. And luckily, I got my requests in early, because if you're trying to buy ammo right now, good luck.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Places that have it, they're not going to sell it to you unless you buy a gun. So that's some really expensive ammo. But the other people I've had support from, the GOA, man, they're coming in and they're lending their support. The head guy, top guy, is going to be in the house. Last year, he passed out baseball caps. I imagine he's going to give out pink baseball caps this time. And so, I'm looking for more and more assistance, man. And I really want to do some great things. One thing that I've been always wanting to do is to pass out T-shirts or a sweatshirt or something, something tangible in their hand that they can actually wear or put up on the shelf or hang in the closet and just look at it and go, man, that day was really something and really special. But, that's not the top priority for me. The top priority is getting the things I need. Glasses, gloves, sanitizers. I'm giving everyone their own individual shooting glasses, instead of having this big community pile of glasses. I'm really stressing hygiene. So you'll get a pair of safety glasses in its own individual plastic wrapper. You take your own glass and your own pair of glasses and you shoot in them and take them home with you, or just throw them away. But hearing muffs, standard protocol has been, the earplugs. Some people don't really find those all too comfortable. And in the past, I used to just do earplugs, and then I got fancy and had a huge number of shooting muffs. But with the whole COVID thing, I might just have to just go back to earplugs, just to minimize any concerns people might have of transferring, germs between ourselves.
We got
targets. I need targets, man. I need stuff, man, and I believe the cause is worthy. And when you look at it and you do the math, the money that I'm looking for sponsorship divided by the number of women I'm going to train, it's literally peanuts and pennies, man. But, I'm trying to do something, unprecedented. I mean, the number of women to receive a training session, a shooting lesson, range safety briefing in one day, that's great and that's beautiful. I did 814 last year. But what I'll tell everyone to a person, above setting a new personal record and feeling good about what we did for the day, the number one priority is safety. The one stat that I'm looking for is 0 injuries, no broken nails, no slide bites, nothing. I want you to come away from this experience, empowered and positive, because I'll tell you, if you have someone have a negative experience, especially, with their first experience with a gun, it stays with them. And, unfortunately, I've come across women who've had some bad guys in their lives, man, and they use guns to actually scare and intimidate these women. And the thing is that I try to tell them it's not the gun, it's the person with the gun. If there's a bad person with the gun, I'm telling you, that is an awful, terrible, unsafe, and possibly dangerous thing. But if you're a good person, a good guy or a good gal with a gun, and you're educated and you're trained and you have good character, only good things can come from that.
We got Eric Schmidt on Facebook asked, where can we find info on the training Rick does? Eric, you might want to take over my job. I mean, you're asking great questions. Rick, I'm guessing that's at Legally Armed in Detroit, right?
Well, the best way, man, is I'm just going to funnel everyone through social media. I have a Facebook business page for Rick's Firearm Academy of Detroit. Let's see, I know I made a note to put the URL down. It's facebook.com/Michigan CCW. Let me double check that to be on the safe side. But it's Rick's Firearm Academy of Detroit over on Facebook. Let me double check this URL. I made a note to double check it, but you know what? I was so double checking everything because I know we had a connection problem earlier and I wanted to make sure it wasn't on my end. So I said, well, let me just shut everything down and reboot. Let's see, I got one too many eyes.
That is correct.
There.
I just looked it up.
And,
That's
and
right.
good old man Murphy, Murphy's Law. If anything can go wrong, it will at the worst possible moment.
Hey, Rick,
so,
Rick,
yes.
we got team resources here. Go ahead, tell them, Dana.
Which?
Didn't you just check the URL?
Yes,
No,
I did.
The URL is facebook.com/Michigan CCW. All one word, concatenated together. And I love having the opportunity of using that word, man. Concatenated.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just made some English teacher really happy.
I know, man. And, we used to have vocabulary like every week, man. And it's like, when you're getting yourself ready in school to take the SATs and those vocabulary words, man, I tell you. But every now and then I get an opportunity to show that I had a very dedicated high school English teacher.
Okay.
Hey, Rick.
Yes.
Oh, hey, it's Amy Dillon here. I wanted to ask you,
Hey, Amy.
since you've been doing this for 9 years now, have you, the women that have come and taken that training from you before, do you keep in contact with any of them, and are they doing any follow-on training, or is there not a lot of opportunities for the women to, after taking, let's say the beginner class with you, are there opportunities for them to continue shooting and practicing on their own?
Absolutely. I mean, that can happen in a lot of different ways. One of the selling points, if you will, that I use with the firearms instructors, I say, look, if you want some customers and some business, what better situation can you be in to have 30 to 40 people per person, per firearms instructor that has met you, that you have worked with one-on-one in the booth, and left them with an empowering environment and a positive experience. If you can't make that sale and pull that student into a class, maybe you should do something else, basket weaving, gardening, flowers.
Well, I don't know. We all know that the rates for women coming back for advanced training is dramatically low, despite the best efforts of the best trainers in the entire country. Yep. So I'm not sure if that's quite an accurate statement based on what we all deal with.
It's a bear trying to get, men to take advanced training. There's if you were to do like a visual graph, you got the mean and you got several standard deviations. It's only that upper curve of gun owners and CPO holders, concealed carriers, who actually want to invest and take that extra training. Sometimes people just look to get in and do the bare minimum. And you know what? And that's fine, because here's the thing. Even though I'm a firearms trainer, I am a Second Amendment advocate to the core. At my core and in my most fervently held beliefs, I don't think that you should have a license to have a gun. Like here in Michigan, we have to get purchase permits to buy a doggone gun, right? And then on top of that, if we want a carry permit, then we have to take a class. And right, I get the irony of a person who teaches that class making those statements against the actual law, but I believe the Second Amendment, means what it says. But if I can play a part in someone taking on a more active role in their personal protection, if I could be that bridge from not having resources or somewhere to turn to, if I can inspire you, give you some confidence, give you an experience to motivate you to go forward, then great. And here's the other thing about the event. When women come in, maybe they don't know anybody that's into guns, or maybe they don't want to share their desire to learn more about guns to other people. You have an opportunity during the session you attend to meet other like-minded women and make friends on the spot. And now you can have like range buddies, people that you met during your experience and had a good time with, exchange phone numbers, do the social media thing, and then you all can get together and go to the range together. So, I mean, it's just win-win all over the place. All types of positive synergies involved here.
We are, believe it or not, totally blown the segment out. We're long on the segment again. But before we go, Rick, I want to just confirm that's facebook.com/MichiganCCW. If there's a, correct. And this is not just ladies from Michigan. If you're in Indiana, if you're in
Ohio, Pennsylvania, I mean, you know what? If they want to come in from God knows, if they can fight their way out of California, come all the way down to Michigan Metro Trail behind enemy lines down there.
All right. We do have to step aside to break. Rick, thank you again so much for joining us tonight, man.